Hello folks, how are you doing and welcome to my channel. You know, I've had this video on burner for a while because I've not known when to do it, how to do it or what I wanted to say. Okay, it's been brewing for some time and over the past week I've thought now is the time to do it. I've got my thumbnail ready and everything. You know, psychic readings, tarot readings, energy readings can be a huge gift to humanity. They can be a wonderful gift to us as humans. They can be a healing tool, a foresight tool, a guidance tool, an inspiration tool, a wisdom tool. They can help you to see stuff that the physical eye can't see. They can help you to make sense of the energies. It's also a double-sided coin if it's not used correctly. I'm going to be giving examples in this video as well to try and make it understandable. I've been doing readings and predictions. Well, I've had the gift of the third eye since a child. Apparently the story goes, I was actually talking to spirit before I was actually talking to humans as a baby. There is a story where I was stood up in my what do you call it abroad? We call it a cot. Would you call it it was a cot, you know, where the baby sleeps. And I was actually talking to spirit. It's true. I was talking to spirit and I was getting messages from spirit before I could even say mama or anything like that. Over the past few months, I have started to see something that I've never seen before, and that is that many timelines have started to become really fluid. There was a time you went to a seer, a mystic, a clairvoyant, and she did a bit of the old woo, like that, and you know, she told you who you were going to meet, she told you the car they were going to drive, she told you the building you were going to, and that stuff still exists and we can still do it, and I can still do that. But I'm seeing something different. I am seeing something deeper than that. I'm seeing something that is more transformational than that. I read an article a few weeks ago, and this was another one of the reasons why I was going to do this video, and they were basically bashing this trade. They were bashing clairvoyants and psychics because somebody had gone to a psychic and they'd had a really bad reading, and they came out of the reading and they were saying it devastated them because they thought, well, that's it, I'm doomed. And I thought, well, actually no, it's not it, you're not doomed. Let me explain. So Miss X wakes up one morning. She's in her early 30s. She's single. She's been single for some time. Anytime she meets someone, he always turns into a Jack the Lad. It's always the same story. So she's drinking heavily. She's a right old Bridget Jones. Comfort eating, friendship group isn't a strong friendship group neither. She's in a real slump. She's in a job that she doesn't like. She hates it. She hates her life. So she goes to a clairvoyant and she says, when the clairvoyant says to her, what questions have you got before we start the reading? She says, I'd like to know if I'm going to meet someone. So the clairvoyant does whatever they need to do, either cards, psychometry or whatever. And the clairvoyant will possibly come up with, if they are authentic, at this stage in your life, no, possibly not. And the client's going to be like, why not? God, I'm going to be single forever. Because where you are right now, you have placed yourself on a low timeline. So if you stay drinking heavily, not looking after yourself, in a job that you don't like, in a mindset that no longer serves you, in a friendship group that is going against you, even if you met that person, you will lose that person, or you may not even meet them, because at the minute, you've gone right down to your underbelly timelines. So we've got the upper timelines, we've got the middle of the road, stay safe timelines, and we've got the underbelly timelines, where as humanity we can sink to very easily. If the client doesn't know about that, or if it's not explained, they can stay, and sometimes it's not explained. Sometimes as a reader you haven't got the time to go into the big ins and outs. I do try to say, but this is what I will say. If a lower timeline comes up, I will say, this is a warning of what's to come if you don't change. And that's up to them how they take it. If they want to go into victim with it and she hates me, she's this, she's that, she's the other, that's fair enough. But if you take that prediction, yes, it's a prediction that could come true. But if she goes from that read and thinks, right, okay, and this isn't just on the psychic, the mystic, the seer. This also has to be on you, whether you come to me or whether you go to another mystic, to have this in your head. That whatever's given to you can be alchemized. Does that make sense? Whatever's given to you can be alchemized. If Miss X went away and started to get to the gym, started to look after herself, stopped the drinking or slowed the drinking right down, looked at her friendship group, made changes, started loving herself a little bit more, slowed down her life, stopped focusing on, am I going to meet Mr. Darcy, and actually came back to herself at a nice steady pace. If she goes to that same seer, psychic reader in a few months' time or a few years' time, she will have gone up to another timeline, another higher timeline. Does that make sense? She'll have gone up to another higher timeline. If I'm going to be advising you now, whether you come to me or you go to anybody else, think very, very carefully about the questions that you ask your psychic. Because if you, let me just do it again, I'm going to go into examples. Hello. Have you got any questions for today's session? Yeah. Am I going to meet someone? Straight away, you're going into victim. Yes. Am I going to meet someone? It just, even if you don't say it in the voice, yes, am I going to meet someone? Try it now out loud. Yes, am I going to meet someone? Think of what that feels to the body and to the gut as you say it. What about rephrasing it and saying, I'd like some guidance as to what I can do to make my life better, or to bring me into alignment with someone that is worthy of my love and I'm worthy of their love, etc. You see the difference in that? Or, I've been single for some time, Claire, and I'd like you to look into that. Am I meant to be? Because again, be open to the fact some people are meant to be single. It's like some people are not meant to have children. The children bit, I used to pull cards all the time and flip out when the old boss behind you showed me the cards that you're not going to be having kids, and storm out of my own office. You've got to be open as well, because that's not fair. It's not fair to go to a reader and be on, don't tell me anything bad. I've had that in healing sessions. Bye. Honest, and I actually once pulled a session because I was about to start and she emailed me and says, don't tell me anything bad. And I actually pulled the session. It was game over, because that's no way to work. Because if you're here to heal, you're here to heal. If you're here for a reading, you're here for a reading. So you've got to be open to it, because sometimes difficult things can actually be a lifesaver for us. So take it back to that session where she goes in and she rechanges what she's going to say. And the clairvoyant may say, well, actually, no, I can't see anyone. I can't see anyone in your future. But what I can see is something else. You're meant to throw yourself into community. You're meant to throw yourself into career. You've actually chosen in this incarnation to have a single life because there's much baggage you have to work through as an individual. And you said pre-incarnation that you didn't want to muddy the waters. You wanted to focus on yourself. So whatever's given to you, alchemize it. Go deeper. Go deeper. Go higher. Because that's how you do yourself a service, not a disservice. Anything is possible and anything can change. I remember a situation ages ago where somebody had, what again, am I going to meet somebody? It actually came up in the cards now, and I was honest, because I'm always honest. And this person flipped. Well, I've been to 10 clairvoyants and they've all told me I'm going to meet someone. I put my cards down and I went, where are they? You know me, I'm from Yorkshire. Where are they? Because they're not here. Because if you were going to meet them, would you have not have met them? And I actually went into the discussion on timelines and explaining. I actually did a timeline read and I said, look, and this is where you're coming from a place of hopelessness. So yes, There could be somebody waiting for you in the wings, but at the minute you're coming to a place of hopelessness. And the truth is, no sound person of sound mind and soul wants to be with someone that's hopeless. They don't. If you're healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you want somebody healthy. You want to be with someone that's healthy. This isn't talking about disability, it's not that. This is something else entirely. A healthy person, a rounded, grounded, healthy person wants to be with somebody of a like-minded, somebody that explores the mind, that expands the mind, somebody that they can grow with and investigate life with. They don't want to be with someone that's a codependent. They don't want to be with someone that's an abuser. They don't want to be with someone that they have to carry through life. So I mean, if I could have this conversation with my younger self, I wish I'd known this years ago, because I would have been able to change my game so much sooner. And the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because I've lived it. Whenever you're in victim mode, whenever you're in weakness mode, you just attract in the narcs, the abusers and all of it. And you loop and loop and loop. I used to have a hairdresser, obviously I still have a hairdresser, but I'd run in the 90s, and she was one of these people that you wouldn't have expected a deep conversation from, and I'm not being rude in that, but boy, did she know her stuff. It was very, very strange. It was, I know why it was, you just wouldn't have expected it, not because she was a hairdresser, but it was just one of those people that, whoa, where did that come from? And maybe she was channeling from source as well. And she was talking about people that are long-term single, or people that keep getting with this. She was talking about her friend who keeps getting with someone, and she keeps getting cheated on. And she said, I was trying to tell her that you will keep getting cheated on until you learn the lessons, till you learn to spot the signs, till you learn to go into a relationship where you know you're not going to put up with that. And with that there can be a lot of internal work to be done. So using psychic gifts, mystic gifts, seer gifts to the best of our ability is important. But also as well, with if you're watching this and you're wanting to hone your psychic skills and polish them up and get them going, you've also got to be aware that a lot of the time you can see things you don't want to see. People say to me all the time, Claire, open my third eye up. And it's like, okay, fair enough. But the third eye isn't just about predictions. It's so much more than that. The third eye is about being able to see everything that the physical eye can't see. So this can be about yourself, seeing aspects of yourself that you've never seen before, seeing aspects of your situation that you've never seen before, seeing aspects of the people around you that you've never seen before, which can mean why when people have awakenings, spiritual awakenings, it can get chaotic and they end up with lots of arguments, because they start to see people differently and it flips us out. Because, oh my God, I thought you were good, I thought you were someone I could trust, and then you start to see something else. And that can take a lot of working through to realign to the fact that they are just a human being like yourself. And you can also start to see things within the world, and that can be exhausting, and you can really send yourself down some really crazy rabbit holes, and it can make you ill. And I think that's a path that many people go on as a path of enlightenment. But then it's the coming back to source and coming back to self and understanding the bigger picture of it all, which is going to be the game changer. The truth about, what else can we talk about with the truth of tarot? The truth of tarot, the truth of tarot. Because I'm feeling the pull to talk about tarot. The tarot is nothing to be scared of, because there's a big trend of that at the minute online is, oh, tarot is scary. Tarot is not scary. Tarot is absolutely amazing. Some of the meanings can be heavy, but again, as we work with them more and more, it's like when you get the devil. I remember when I first started it and you go, oh, you'd think this horned figure, and some of the depictions on it are quite brutal. They are quite brutal. But actually what the devil comes up to show us is our underbelly, our addictions, our traumas, our pain, our anger, our lustfulness, our self-sabotage. So even if you're doing a reading for yourself and it all pops up, death card, tower card, you name it, rather than going into oh my God, or if you're getting it in a reading, think, okay, fair enough, this is coming up to show me. Because actually a good reader will want to show you that. They won't want to bullshit you. I've told you the stories, the amount of readers I've been to before I became one that would tell me I was going to have 4 children, that I was really fertile, that I was going to have twins, I was going to have this, I was going to have that. And it doesn't come to fruition. It doesn't come to fruition. Now you can say, actually, well, you can be fertile in different ways. You can be fertile, and I've said this about when people say I'm infertile. Never say I'm infertile. You're not meant to produce that, but you're meant to produce that instead. Also as well, interpretations can be very, very different to how they come out. Okay, so I'll explain some from the I'm obviously not going to be using client things in this, but let's go back to some of the readings I've done over the past couple of years. So one of the main ones that sticks out is the crowning of King Charles. When I said there's an issue with the crown, I'm being drawn to the crown's slipping, it's coming off, it's too big. What's this about? And he got crowned, and I remember thinking, it's going to slip, it's going to slip, it's going to slip. But can I just draw your attention to this? When the Archbishop of Canterbury, I think it is the Archbishop of Canterbury, went to put the crown on him, there was that thing where, and I've just watched the documentary about this, and even then the Archbishop of Canterbury was saying he was so nervous putting that crown on, and Charles was nervous as well of getting it right because it's a sacred moment. And he put it on and you could see he was like, oh, is it back? Is it to the front? It was almost like working it out for himself. Now the crown didn't stop off, but I actually thought at one point we were going to have a situation. We also looked at Camilla with her crown. It was almost like she was backwards and forwards. There's all kinds of reasons that she'd hurt her spine, that she was trying to protect her dress. Regardless, there was that issue with the crown coming in. I also said that I saw something with a carriage and going into the crowd. And you didn't see it on they didn't see it on the channel I saw it on. But afterwards it was on the recap where one of the horses had come loose and it backed into the crowd, right? I also said there was going to be an attempt made on the carriage, and lo and behold, there was an attempt made on the carriage with the King and Queen in. It was egged on its way into Buckingham Palace, but again, that wasn't something that was shown at the time. It was something that was brought to my attention afterwards. So these are examples of how you can get an image or a vision and it can be slightly different to what it is. So another example, years ago my mum went to a clairvoyant and the clairvoyant said, you're going to get a new wedding ring, engagement ring and eternity ring. And it was like, whoa, I'm going to get married again. And it wasn't, it was a charm bracelet that she was going to get with all that on. And also eventually she got her all, because what's the story? The engagement ring that they got was one that when they didn't have a lot of money, and the wedding ring was her sister's, so they had it all changed. She did get a new she got a new engagement ring because that one, she wanted a fresh one. And she did get a eternity ring. So you see as a client, you go and think, oh, God, I'm going to get divorced. She just told me I'm going to get a new wedding engagement ring, and how it does come out. So there's also that. So predictions are always very fluid and they're not set in stone. With readings as well, there's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of symbolism. Another thing I spoke about, was it in the February or the January? I don't remember. I think it was February. Energy update for the Royals, and I said I saw William with the, what is it? It's not 8 of Cups, is it? Where the cups have all fallen and he's looking at a river and he's feeling despondent. And I said there's something about William drinking heavily coming. And again, Claire got slammed down that William only drinks 1 glass of beer, and it's all out there that Mike Tyndall said he don't drink, and I got slammed for that. And lo and behold, as February's got on, this story has come out about William and potential drinking issues. Now, whether it's true or not, the fact that I saw it in the cards and it came up in the cards, do you see what I mean? I'm not saying that I said that William has a drinking problem. I'm saying it came up. Now, it could be that he has it, or it could be that a rumour is formed around it. But it came up in the cards. So it's always about interpretation and how things pan out. especially when you get the old crystal ball out, because the crystal ball is just full of symbolism. It's full of stuff like that, the crystal ball. There's a whole thing out there as well, although I've not heard it for a while, that if she's a proper clairvoyant, is not allowed, crazy this one, she's not allowed to tell you anything bad. Again, that is from humans that don't want to do the work. That is from humans that want to go for a reading, that want to be told that everything is perfect, that everything is right, that you're on the right path, you're not doing anything wrong, they're the one doing the wrong, they're the one that are doing it to you, etc, etc, etc. Actually, if you're going to put yourself in the energy of having a reading, do you not want an honest reading? Do you not want to be seen what you don't want to see? Because the times I've done them for myself and I've seen things I don't want to see, it's woken me up. It's woken me up from the slumber, and it's actually saved me in some respects. So stepping away from those narratives, stepping away from those narratives that keep us held back is a game changer. We are going into a point where timelines are incredibly fluid at the minute. So for example, last year a timeline came up for me and Gary where we were moving again, and it was so strong. And I was like, oh, I've got to tell you this, Gary, because it went on for ages. I'm seeing in the cards and psychically that we are going to be moving house soon. It was that bad that every time we went out, I came across a removal van. Honestly, it was crazy. And it got that, I thought I'm going to have to warn him, because if it comes in, I want to warn him that we are moving. And guess what? That timeline has disappeared. Not the timeline has disappeared, but the message has disappeared. And at the time when it came in, I was convinced it was going to be either the end of last year or this year. Now, this year it finished yet. It was shown to me without a time span on it. So that could have been Spirit saying, you are going to be moving, and when it comes, just be ready for it. It can also be at the same time Spirit saying, settle here, but it's not going to be forever. And I think that's what it was. But at the time I was like, it came in so intense. I was like, we are like moving tomorrow. It was weird. But it's dissipated now. It's still there, but it's not, when I read on it, when I do a read for myself, it doesn't come up. Because, does that make sense? I've been shown a timeline in the future. So, another example of it. When I was looking for our old house, I was setting up a different business to this one, and I needed a certain property with a certain size garden and a bigger kitchen and everything, so I was going to be doing catering. And I went to a shaman and I got a reading. And I says, I want you to give me some information about where I'm going to live. And it was very good reading. She started to describe this place. And I was like, I knew where I wanted to live at that time. And I was like, that's not where that is. You're surrounded by fields, there's a school nearby, there's a playground, it's very peaceful, it's out in the country, etc. And I was like, I was looking at Centre of Leeds. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. And I was trying to make it fit where I was going to be moving. And I just showed, I thought, she's quite good, I'll take it. It'll play out and I'll see what comes from it. At the same time, I was thinking, as you do, I wonder what house I'm going to be shown. I wonder what time I'm going to be shown. I wonder what house we're going to move into. Let me see it. And I was shown a bungalow. And I was like, what? Because at the time we were looking for a big family home. And I was like, a bungalow? What's all that about? We're not looking for a bungalow. We weren't then. But that timeline that I'm on now, where we moved into a bungalow in the middle of the country, near fields, etc, etc, etc. For although we weren't on that timeline was there. So it kind of overlapped the timeline that we wanted to be on. Does that make sense? It was almost like the universe was saying, listen, you're not meant to, and I think obviously you're meant to move there, but it was almost like this was a timeline that wanted to come in for it. So again, you go for a reading for now, he or she can be picking up stuff for the future, for the further future. I went for a reading in 2025 And again, I asked her questions about, I said all the questions are just, I'm going to meet someone, all of that, I've been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, and it don't get you anywhere, believe you me, it doesn't. And she started to go on about meeting someone, and how she was talking, I thought, this is it, this is you know, this is what's going to happen, this is a person that I'm waiting for. And actually that didn't happen until 2015, 10 years afterwards. 10 years. But when she was giving me the reading, it was almost like the energy of it was there. But let me come to another thing. We also know that time is not linear. And this is becoming more stronger, by the way, where there's different timelines that we can flip between. Honestly, this is getting it's getting a bit freaky, I've got to admit, where, and this is when the question comes in of how can you be channeling Anne Boleyn when Anne Boleyn has reincarnated into that person? It's like, because time is not linear. It's all happening at once. And the timelines are all, at the minute, really badly. Not in a bad, when I say badly, it's not in a bad way, but because there's so many reasons for that. Many people have been stuck in the old paradigms, many of us, me included, been stuck in the old paradigms, and we're leaping now, we're starting to leap. Never before have we leaped in this way. You've always kind of stayed steady because that's what the energy is expected of you. But now we're starting to learn about this. We're starting to learn about energy, and we're starting to leap. We're starting to leap out of jobs and businesses and relationships and mindsets at a rate of knots, like really fast, which is why the Schumann's going like it is, which is why the frequency of the planet is going like it is. So a lot of the timelines are like all over the place. And it's going to get more and more like, whoa, what's happening? You know, I got a download before I came on. Yesterday's baddies will become tomorrow's goodies, and vice versa, which is why I say to people, step out of the whole, they're a goodie, they're a baddie, because if you do that, you're going to lose it. Because we're going to be shown so much stuff, so much interchanging energy within the global world and within our own internal world. So I've got a deck here. Oh God, I nearly burnt myself then. I've got a brand new deck. It's called the Unfolding Tarot. The Unfolding The Unfolding Path Tarot. Let's have a shuffle on it and see what wants to come in about tarot. Yeah, the illusion and delusion card. People are not sure of it. They're not sure of it. What's this that I'm picking up on? There's a real, and I actually get where this comes from. More messages than one in this read. People are putting themselves under way too much stress with tarot. So this is for those of you that want to read tarot. And stop focusing on predictions. That's another thing. If you go into a reading and you're just focused on predictions, and I'm going to need to, because I need to be a good reader, and because people want prediction after prediction. Listen to what I've just told you. Do you think predictions help? If you were going for a reading now after hearing what I've just said, would you want to hear, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to meet this person, you're going to go, oh, I see a red car, I see this, I see that, I see the other. Or would you want someone to read the energies of your life? I know what I'd want now. If I was going to go to a reader, I won't want predictions. I'd want somebody to read the energies of my life, to really give me the truth of what's going on. And it's this illusion energy of not being sure of it. And the witch attacks are coming back. They are coming back. People attacking clairvoyants, people attacking witches, people attacking shamans, shamanic practitioners, people not being told what they want to hear, so getting vitriolic. There's a lot of that online, in sessions. There's all kinds of different clairvoyants and psychics and mystics all talking about it. People, and it's putting people off practicing or sharp because they're like, I can't do it because I'm going to be judged, I'm going to be mocked. But we've got to heal that. We've got to heal that. There is a lot of wounding in relation to this stuff. And yes, there's a lot of fakery out there, a lot of fakery out there. But stepping away from that. I'm also getting that tarot's not being respected. Tarot's not being respected. It's being used as a fickle tool. Am I going to meet? I'm going to have to start looking at my sessions in future and really getting a bit bolshy and stopping this, being responsible myself doing this video and not letting people go down those, because the difference when I get a reading with someone that asks different questions or comes in with a different energy, the readings are like boom, 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 it's next level. When they come in like that, it can be a real struggle, because don't forget, a reader also uses your energy. So if you're going to come in like that, this is another point I need to come to, you're not going to have a successful reading. And also as well, because tarot is becoming more and more spoken about within the public arena, still people like tarot, but that's something that, you know, witches do, and tarot, it's all, that energy is still there. Look at that as well, Ten of Swords, stabbing in the back. Two cards. Do you know, I used this card earlier in a different reading, and I thought that some of these cards were doubled up, but they're not. To change how we're using tarot. We're not witches that are being burnt at the stake anymore. So what if you don't get the feedback that you want or that you feel you need? Doesn't matter. What Steve Bartlett say? What does Steve Bartlett say about failure to his feedback? Feedback is, let me Google it. Steve Bartlett. I love this saying he does. Apologies whilst I Google, because this I feel is important. Steve Bartlett. Failure is I can't get it unless I actually go on his YouTube and know what he wants to do with that, because I can't get it, because I heard him talking about it on a podcast. See if you can Google it yourself and go on some of these videos and podcast it, because obviously I can't for copyright. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you get it wrong. It doesn't matter if you're putting yourself under too much pressure. You're putting yourself under too much pressure. The future of tarot. The Knight of Pentacles. Reevaluating it. Putting these burdens down that we're carrying in relation to tarot. Putting the pressure on us. Right, what? Knight of Pentacles, what does that mean? Stop doing that. Whenever I go into that energy, readings, they just don't work for me. Just think, relax. How does that card make you feel? What energy do you feel with that card? What symbolism do you see with that card? What visions are you getting with that card? It's almost like tarot is reinventing itself. And it could also be why a lot of people are struggling to read it, because we're trying to read it in the old ways. I can see this and I can see that and I can see this and I can see that. And you're trying to do it, but maybe you're meant to be reading it in the new ways. You're meant to be putting down those burdens. Look at that Two of Wands going into the future. Here's some cards for psychics at this time, for psychics. Five of Wands, the battle. The Page of Swords. There's still many people blocking it, the gift. Society's blocking it, they don't want to listen to it, they don't want to see it. People that may even come in for a session don't want to listen to it, don't want to say it. But actually, keep the faith and hold the line is what I'm getting. Many people are choosing to see it as dark, and yes, there are dark psychics out there, of course there is. But actually, don't tar everyone with the same brush. Don't tar everyone with the same brush, because it's almost like there's many new ones coming on grid that are going to be very different. That's what I'm picking up. There's many new psychics coming on grid that are going to be very different, because we're going into a different world. Many people actually don't want to have a session full of predictions. Many people do. Many people actually come and say, I want to dive deeper, I want to dive deeper. There is a thirst to dive deeper. So if you're really rubbish at the predictions and you don't got the confidence, why not try it a different way? Because actually there's clients that need that. They need spiritual guidance rather than your mum's here and she says she loves you. Again, I don't even like that type of energy that's out there at the minute. Yeah, I like that. So maybe, yeah, look at that, the Knight of Wands as well. The Page and the Knight, the male and the female. The new wizards that want to come on grid. There's a whole new range of seers. I don't want to call them psychics and clairvoyants. This is very deeper. This is much deeper than that. And these people that I'm seeing are going to be Queen of Swords, they're going to be ruffling feathers within the spiritual community, because they're going to be doing things their way. And these are seers and mystics and shamans of old that have gone through the process of being burnt at the stake, but they've come back with new knowledge. Some of them are new souls, but some of them have come back with new knowledge, and they're revolutionising tarot and what we feel of tarot. The future, show me the future. We see how I'm doing it again. Future, show me the future. Show me the energy of predictions. 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 Yeah. It's almost like, you know what I mean? Like, anything can happen at any point. The Hermit. I wanted to say go higher than predictions. Going higher than predictions. Going deeper. You're worth more than sat there trying to make predictions. Because as well, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people at the minute are really, really, really struggling and suffering. So to really go into someone's energy and to start thinking about predictions, that can be quite heavy. That can be really heavy, because again, they're low. So they're going to be on the lower timelines. So if you're there trying to make predictions and you see a prediction that, I don't know, whatever, something really bad's happening, where does that leave you? Now, yes, sometimes somebody will come in for a reading, you'll say, there is a possibility that if you don't change your habits, or if you and your partner don't talk more, then there is a possibility of extracurricular activities coming in. And then talk through that and look at the cards around that. So I think as well, going forward from this, it's really trying to take our readings and our personal readings, our readings for ourselves, higher. And if people want to come in and take it lower, actually saying, no, I don't want to do that, because we've got to be careful. You've got to be so careful. Always trust your intuition. If you get a client, and I remember being taught this as well, if you get someone sat in front of you and you think, oh no, I shouldn't be doing this, or I shouldn't be reading for them, or I shouldn't be doing the healing session, for God's sake, listen to it. And you'll say just what I've said in the past, yeah, but they are the people that need this. If you get an inkling that somebody is in front of you, that they're unsuitable for a reading with the energy or the attitude or a healing, you've got to very kindly and compassionately say, I'm really sorry, not at this time. And it's a difficult conversation to have, but it's a fair conversation to have, because actually it's not fair on them neither. Because if they're coming to your session, it's like I had that situation where, don't tell me anything bad, Claire. If I'd have carried on and end on the session and there'd have been curse energy coming up, and all, because there would have been, and all that kind of stuff, it just spiraled her because she wasn't ready for it. She wasn't ready. So when people are not ready for it, it spirals them. And actually it can actually cause more damage than good. Than saying, you look, I wish you well, but I wish you away. And this isn't for you at this time. I know in the shamanics at the minute, we're changing how we're doing the shamanics, which that's already in place from what I think about from the website people. These shamanic assessments are going through more rigorous proceedings now, because some people can really benefit from it and some people can take it to the next level, and it can really, they're just like sponges. They want to find out, they want to heal, they want to hear about the shadow, they want to go for it and get out of their stuff. And yet some people, it's like it's not working. And so we're changing how we're doing all these assessments, because it's not worth it for me, it's not worth it for you. And it's the same with readings, being mindful of who we're giving a reading to. Is this person of sound mind? Because again, it's about having respect for the craft. I like this video. It's gone very different to how I thought, because I'm talking to people coming for readings, either with me or somebody else. I'm talking to people learning how to do readings. So if ever you have doubts over anyone, just say no, because believe you me, it's not worth it. Yeah, I've done sessions where I've spent the whole session, because you think if only they could see this, it's just one ear out of the other. I've had people on doing sessions where they've been like this on the phone, and that's another thing that's coming in. If I get wind of that, I'm pulling the sessions, because remember, as a reader and as a healer, your energy is so important. If someone sat there, all slyly do that, if they don't realise I can see right through it, and they sat there like, and I always try to think these people need to hear this, but you can see them on the phone. Yeah, what was that, Claire? What was that? And I'm like, and I sit there and I'm like, are you taking notes? Yeah, I'm taking notes, I'm writing a video, I'm not on your phone. Anyway, in future, if I get wind of that, because I'm seeing these shifts and changes as well, because I look at it like this, that's a space that can be used for someone that wants to sit there and listen and take heed and listen and explore and learn and grow and expand and enlighten. It's interesting. It's interesting. So what else wants to come up with this? Judgment. Let them. There's going to be more of this. There's going to be more of this. The Hierophant, look at that. The judging of the light. The attacking of the light. I think many have the witch wound in certain ways, in all different ways. And I think that's one of the things we're having to work through as healers, mystic seers. And that's why so many are coming under attack, either online or in sessions or etc. All in different ways. Maybe you're watching, you're coming under attack from family. That's never happened to me, because I grew up around people. It was a norm. Was psychicness and spirituality. It was a norm. But I can imagine if it wasn't a norm, if you grew up in a family where you were berated or ridiculed for it, and I think as well, this is about rising higher. It's about rising higher. It's about being comfortable with the devil. It's about being comfortable. It's not, I do it all the time, God. Some of the readings I do, I mean, come on. When I got on the what is it, CT's, I don't know what your channel's called. CT's Roll Tarot, honestly, shit show at times on there with the comment section. And it gets me at times. But actually, I need to remind myself of this, that is only that. It's the devil. It's a devil frequency. Because this is what works through me. This is what works through you. And we need to be comfortable with this, because again, we've got the card of justice and the magician. The card of justice and the magician and the high priestess. You may have been, and the wheel of fortune, things need to change. The hanged man, different perspective. The card of strength coming up. The card of death and rebirth. Look at that, card after card after card. You are going to come across it. You are going to come across this energy that wants to take you down, that wants to tell you your readings are rubbish, your healing's rubbish. I actually don't think you're doing your job unless you come across this now and again. Because one thing this frequency doesn't like is the light, and it will find different ways to work through. So it's about knowing your self-worth. Knowing your self-worth. So I come on to my next point. If you go to a reading, I remember years ago, bless my dad, when I went to my first ever clairvoyant reading, he went, right, don't tell him you're single, don't tell him this, don't tell him that. And I actually didn't know any better then, so I went into that reading and she said, any questions? Nope. Give her nothing. And I look back at that, and I've had sessions where people will sit there, but they'll be like that. They'll be looking at you. And I find myself going, why are you here if you're sat here with that attitude? I didn't do it to that extent when I did it. I was very naive. But if you're going to go to a reader, or even for a healing session, like that, you're in for a shock, because you won't get a reading. You won't get a reading. Your reading will be very fragmented. And again, this is something else I'm going to be looking at in the future, because you try and you push through it. And if you get clients like this, pull the reading straight away. If you get an inkling that a client's doing that, it's not that you need to be told information. Well, if you're a proper psychic, you know, I hate that. And actually, doors open, walk out, there you go, shut it after you. You don't need to shut it, I'll shut it after you. Because when you got everything's energy, but at the same time, you don't want someone coming in and just, you know, dropping their world on your lap and you're sat there like that. You don't want that neither, but this whole energy of, no, I'm not going to tell you, you tell me, I've got my money, you tell me. And I hate that energy. And that, if it doesn't happen often, but when it does, in future, we're pulling it. That's what we're deciding to do. We're going to pull it, you pull it too. Don't let them. Because what you'll find is, and people can test you as well and get wind of that, it's finished as well, game over. People can test you, they'll try and trip you up. Oh, it exists. It exists. I could tell you some right tales. It's I'm glad I've done this video, because actually this video is very different to what I thought, and I think many of you watch me that are into tarot and learning, and I think you need this conversation because I think there's a lot going on out there. So don't let people test you, because actually, as I always say, if I get wind of it, I'll say, you're not testing me, you know that, don't you? You're not testing me, you're testing spirit, you're testing the light. And you basically have just sat here and you've gone, and by doing that, you've just shut your door to your reading. You've just shut your door to your reading, and anything that comes through, you just won't be able to grasp because you're testing. And also as well, when people come for a reading, you'll be surprised at people that actually have no connection to their life. Oh, I've got a right tale, and I will tell you this because it was a long time ago. For example, and I will tell you this, I'm not mentioning no names, and this was a long time ago. It was when I first started, and I gave a free reading away in my local mag, not where I'm now in Lincoln, but where I lived in Leeds. And you did that thing, you did a launch day and you did your logo, and then you did a free giveaway. And this person won a reading, and she comes in and she sits down. I'm doing a reading. It was the first ever face-to-face I'd ever done as well. And I says, I can see I know this person doesn't follow me, they just don't. And I says, there's a holiday and a breakaway that I can see, and there's you and your sister, and you're talking about your childhood, and you're talking about the past, and there's going to be things that are said that you will find triggering, but Spirit is saying you must give her a chance to speak and listen to her side of the tale. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, and that's what she was, everything I said. You could tell she'd never had a reading ever. She didn't know anything about tarot, and I'm not being ignorant there, but that's how it was. And I was like, oh God, come on. I had a clock back, well, I still have a clock. But you know what I mean? Like, oh God, when is this going to end? And we finished the reading. I said, anyway, what are you doing this weekend? You're going to love this. She said, oh, I'm going away with our so-and-so. We're going up to Scotland and we're going to have a chat about his childhood. And I shit you not, I went. And I actually looked at her and she looked at me and I went, do you realise what you've just, because she was quite difficult through the reading as well. I went, do you realise what you've just said there? And she went, oh yeah. Oh, I didn't think. And I was like, and I just said, well, I said, your reading's done now, see you. Because my time's precious, baby girl. I ain't here to start working over for anyone unless I know that person needs it. And especially for someone that's not clued in. And I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God. And she was going, this was like Thursday or Friday, and it was this weekend she was going. And it was like, that is nuts. That's nuts. And you'll be surprised at people that just have no idea of their life. They're so switched off. They've zoned out. And it's a coping mechanism. People can't cope, so they'll zone out via various, just switch off. And if you get a client like that just switches off, you can't switch them back on again. So yeah. Ooh, I've enjoyed doing this video. Have you enjoyed watching it? Would you like me to do any more videos like this on other subjects? Because that's the thing, I don't think there's anything out there like this, where clairvoyants and psychics will come on and be as honest as they can. You just see that people, I can remember being the same, you go on and you see everybody that's already established and the big followings they've got and all of that. And actually it can be quite overwhelming when you may be getting like the client like I had, where, oh, and you're thinking, I'm rubbish, but you're not. The King of Wands, let's finish with the Told King. And the transition. Wishing you well on your journey of healing, of spirituality, of mysticism, tarot, crystals, Reiki, reflexology, whatever it is you're doing, astrology. You will come across the doubting Thomases, you will come across the Debbie Downers, you will come across the vitriol, you will come across all of that, but let it make you, not break you. And again, what's he said, Stephen? I wish I could remember it. Failure is feedback, feedback is strength, and then it's like he goes forward with it. But basically your failure is actually your strong point, and that's your biggest teacher. So for every reading you do, you think, healing sessions, pick yourself up, dust yourself down, because to be quite honest, a good session is a two-way, three-way street. If you need to connection with your guides, with yourself and your client, and if you've not got that because of whatever reason, don't take on that craziness, that. And then I said that borderline then. It's true. Yeah, look at that, 8 of Pentacles. Get out and get doing your craft. Because if you're one of the ones that we need you. There's so many people out there at the minute, oh Claire, I want to do this, I want to do that, but they're not doing it because of the witch wound, because of society, because of their own beliefs, because they've tried and they've had those clients that just sit there and go, what? It does exist. Or they've told a client something that the client want to see and they've flipped off on them, which does happen, and it knocks their confidence. Ignore it. Come back from it. Don't let them do it, because right now is a team of beings that want to work through you and they want you to pick yourself up, stretch yourself down and get back in the seat, be the King of Wands. There's a lot of deceit and treachery out there. There's a lot of moon illusion energy. A lot of people deceiving themselves at this time as well. And they'll deceive themselves and they'll try and deceive you. And if you get close to their truth, boom, that happens as well. Look at this. This is you, the 5 of Swords, recovery. Stepping forward. And the Queen of Pentacles. And the Lovers, the union. We'll end here. Healing, coming back on grid, understanding what the noise is, and then it is just noise, and feedback, and learning from your mistakes, learning from your pitfalls, your fall downs, but brush yourself down and get back up, because every clairvoyant, every mystic, it's happened to all of us. People like see that I've got so many subscribers and they don't realise I spent the whole of lockdown on YouTube filming every single day. A lot of that content's all gone because I did a lot of content and I was lacking in confidence on camera. So a lot of it was all over the place, but I did it. I showed up. People don't see that. People don't see all that work that goes in behind scenes. And it's the same for you. It takes a lot of work. But take it away from this craft. Take it to someone like Steve Bartlett. We see Steve Bartlett, multi-million billionaire, and we see him as that. We don't see where he came from, what he's had to go through, his knocks. Any person of success within the world, within your world, you just see the finished product at the end, which is all shiny. Final messages for people go in for readings, take something from this, because, and be mindful as well if you do take questions like that to the clairvoyant and they don't like it, because you'll get some, don't say a word to me, I don't want you to say a word to me, and I don't know. It's, you've got to really think about what you want. You've got to think about what you want and how you're going to use that person with that deck of cards in their hands, that crystal ball, your jewellery if you're doing that kind of stuff. You've got to really think about it. Because one of the things that's happening also, as we know this, the frequency of the planet is changing. So we're coming more and more back on grid. So again, this could be why these new readers are coming in, because we're not going to be interested in predictions, predicting the future. We're going to be interested in alchemy. How can I alchemize the future? How can I take charge of my future? And maybe more and more young people will be asking these questions. As well as being the ones that are going to be delivering it. Always remember as well that your clients are out there waiting for you. The good, the bad and the ugly. And they're coming to you for a reason. And you know something, they may not get it that day. They may not get it. They may think you're a charlatan. Sometimes they do. But one day they might. One day something may happen in their life and they go, oh, shit. God, I should have listened. God. I actually had that once. I'll tell you this story as well. Oh, again, it was when I first started, and listen to this. I gave someone a reading and she flipped. You know why she flipped? Because it was too good. And I know. It was too positive, it was too good. And she just flipped. And she ran at me. Anyway, 2 or 3 years later, I got a text. Hi Claire, it's da-da-da-da. I just wanted to say I'm really sorry for what I did and how I reacted. She said, at the time, she was in a place that was quite heavy. And she said, when you were saying you're going to get this, you're going to get that, there's going to be this. It was a wonderful reading. She said it triggered me because at the time life wasn't good. She says, but everything you've said has happened and more with bells on. She said, so I apologise for what I did. Do you see what I mean? I actually gave someone, it was just, even now I still think about it and think it was just, maybe that's what she needed to hear but then she didn't need to hear it because it flipped her. But you get my drift? So, that was years ago, that. But yeah, interesting. Now then, go off and enjoy your day. Like, comment and subscribe. Maybe put a comment below of any other areas you'd like me to give a psychic's perspective of or a healer's perspective of. Yeah, the other side of the coin. Oh, there's a playlist coming, I know it. I love a playlist. Anyway, thanks for watching. Love to all. I think that's all I've got to say. Yeah, go onwards and get on with it. And I will see you in the next one. Like, comment and subscribe. Yeah, see you later. Bye.